Welcome back, all you sibling people, to season 2 of Sister Show Me How, the podcast, a place where we help you talk through all the real rough shit. I am Real Rough Rick, host of Sister Show Me How, and your how-to sister.
And I am Vibrant Vic, co-host of Sister Show Me How, and your other how-to sister.
I am Candid Cat, co-host of Sister Show Me How, and your other how-to sister.
Okay, sisters, so the question for today is, what is your view of the world?
Yikes.
Well, on a good day or a bad day?
Well, both. I think both are important.
Very high highs,
Okay.
followed by very low lows.
As a diagnosed bipolar, I 100% understand that.
Got that.
Yeah.
Ding, check.
And I don't know if that's because sometimes it is so bad that then the good things seem just like so good, or things are so good that then the bad things seem like so bad.
Right.
I don't know if my perception is necessarily skewed, but I don't know. I just feel like either I am like so in love with the human race or just disgusted.
No, dude, I feel that so hard.
Like no middle for me.
Yeah. The whole time you were talking, I was just thinking, well, por qué no los dos?
Two things
Why
can be true.
not both? Vic, what about you? What's your view of the world?
Well, I don't know. It feels like I personally have a really good view of the world because I know there's like tons of bad things all the time everywhere. But like it genuinely depends on like how you yourself can like get through it and not let it affect your like day-to-day basis. There's someone in my life who takes things very, very harshly when it happens, and it makes me have another outlook on life where it's like they take it so hard and then I'm like, well, it's not that bad. So it's like, but you can't, I'm not downplaying how they feel about something.
Oh, like belittling.
Belittling, yeah. I don't want it to ever get like that, but it's like sometimes where it's like, it's really not that bad.
Yeah.
It could be worse. Yeah. I think that's where I'm at with the world right now. Yeah. Is like, sometimes it sucks, but it could be worse. And if we don't make a change, then it will get so much worse.
I think I agree with you ultimately, and I think that I came to the same kind of general idea, and that things are a lot more nuanced. We can't just come at this and say, oh, the world is great, or man, the world fucking sucks, because again, por qué no los dos? They are both true. So today we are talking about the world, how it sucks, how it is much better, and how it could still do much better. Is this the good place or is this the bad place? Let's talk about it.
This right here, the good place.
This is the good place.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, let's not set our judgment too quickly. I did some research, and let's see what the facts
All right,
say,
okay? Fine.
The world is awful. The world is better. The world could do much better. Mark Roser. I don't know who he is either, but he sounds really smart. The simple fact here is that three things can, in fact, be true at once. And in order for all of us to be able to envision a better world, we have to be able to recognize that three things can be true at once. That the world is awful, the world is a lot better than it was, and we could still do a lot better still. So our man Mark Rosier explains that discussions about the state of the world too often focus on the first statement. News highlights often what is going wrong, rarely mentioning the positive developments in our country or as the world as a whole. Pushback on this narrative takes it to the other extreme, however, which is just as equally damaging. Solely communicating the progress that the world has achieved becomes unhelpful or even repugnant when it glosses over all the real problems that people are facing. If we only see the problems and only hear what is going wrong, we have no hope that the future can be better. If we only hear about progress and what is going right, we become complacent and lose sight of the problems that the world is facing. Both of these narrow perspectives have the same consequence. They leave us doing nothing. Both of these worldviews are paralyzing us. It's hard to resist falling for only one of these perspectives, but to see that the world is a better possibility, we need to see that both are true at the same time. The world is awful and the world is much better. So his article goes through those three statements. The world is awful, the world is much better, the world could do much better. But the example that he uses is child mortality rates, which I thought was amazing. And we will go over that in a second. Yeah. But I wanted to go further into that because as horrible as it is that babies are dying, there are other aspects of the world, right? So I went into adult literacy because education is a huge problem right now, and food insecurity because people are going hungry all over the place. And it's disgustingly sad, honestly. So we'll go over his example. Child mortality. The world is awful. Globally, 4.4% of all children die before they are 15 years old. This data is for 2021, the latest available year for his article. That's a lot. That's almost 5% of children. This means that 5.9 million children, about twice the entire population of Arkansas, which is a state in the States. A state in the States.
State in a state in a state in a state.
It's a state in a state in a state in a state.
An estate in a state in a state.
And if you know Arkansas, that makes a whole lot of sense.
We did it. We just fixed Arkansas. we just fixed it.
You're welcome, Arkansas. Yeah. You're welcome. Okay, so 5.9 million children, about twice the population. Oh, twice the population. I didn't even process that the first time.
Jeez. That's crazy.
Of Arkansas every year. That means 16,000 dead children on an average day, 11 children every minute. Wow, that is depressing.
Yeah. It's gut-wrenching information to get. Being a mom, hearing that kind of shit, that goes it's a different kind of feeling in your chest. Yeah, it's feels like a hole.
You said, pardon me, my heart is now in my asshole.
Yeah.
And I need to go change my Pampers.
I'm really good at it.
Changing Pampers, that is.
Changing Pampers.
Changing Pampers.
His last statement says, clearly, a world where thousands of tragedies happen every single day is awful. Shortly, yes, that is a lot of children. The world is much better. Data can help bring the scale of change to mind. Historians estimate that in the past, around half of all children died. And this was true until the 19th century, no matter where in the world a child was born.
That's actually insane.
That is.
We're in what, the 21st century? Mm-hmm. So we have had only 2 centuries where children are actually living.
That's insane.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
That it really is crazy information to just receive.
People were just popping those kids out like crazy back then.
Well, it didn't matter because they weren't living.
Exactly. Yeah. They were like, hey,
you had to
moving on to the next.
Going.
Yeah.
You had to.
That's insane.
You almost didn't need abortion.
Just almost. This close.
They're not even living anyways.
And that's a wrap.
Post-birth abortion.
Post-birth
abortion.
All the way up until the 19th century, post-birth abortion.
It was legal in all 50 states. It was legal. God.
That is not factually correct. Post-birth abortion is not a thing. That's called infanticide, and it is all illegal in all 50 states.
Please don't do it.
Just to let you guys know.
Of them.
Nobody does it. It's illegal.
No.
Doctors are not doing that. Schools are not doing that.
It is not a thing.
No one is
No
doing
one.
that. That is not happening.
Someone makes it an edit.
Yeah,
We're
it's the
saying-
most horrifying video you've ever seen.
They're talking about killing babies on this podcast.
Freaking liberals.
The future that liberals want.
I'm surprised she even had a kid. She says she's a mom, but I don't believe it.
Women these days. No one likes a modern woman.
No.
Woo, it's hot and sweaty in here.
Modern women, though, yeah, can we talk about it? They suck, right?
You know what? We wouldn't be up here doing this if someone had ever taught us how to make a damn muffin.
Yet.
I'm a baker on the side, y'all.
You didn't know
She's
this about me.
The devil's child, obviously.
A witch.
A witch.
Perhaps.
Oh my god.
All right. Okay.
So he says that child mortality in the very worst off places today is actually much better than anywhere in the past. In Niger, the country with the highest mortality today, only about 14% of all children die. Just a few generations ago, the mortality rate was more than 3 times as high, even as in the best off places.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot. 14% is still a lot, but 14 compared to maybe 50 or 60%,
Oh.
I would say that is a pretty significant increase. So how the world can do much better, in Mr. Rozier's opinion. The world region where children have the best chance of surviving childhood is the European Union. I'm kind of not surprised by that. The mortality
No.
rate in the EU is 0.47% to 99.53%. Oh, I see. I thought they were about to tell me.
Between 0.47 and 99%.
That is a giant gap.
Somewhere between there.
But hey,
That is a giant gap. And originally I thought this statistic was for the number of children who die in the EU, and I was like, what the hell are these numbers?
0 to all of them. Depends on the day.
0 to 100. Between 0 to 100 children just die.
Every day. We don't know what's happening.
Someone send help, please.
Yeah, clearly they need it in the European Union. Okay, so on average, they're saying between 0.5% and 99.5% of all children survive childhood. That's a very vague number, but I'm assuming he means a lot of them are living.
Seems pretty good to me.
Is this okay? Do you know this? What it's saying, right?
Yeah, it's just super vague.
No, that 99.53 is an aside.
What?
What do you mean?
So it's like this. The best chance of surviving childhood is in the European Union. The mortality rate in the EU is only 0.47%.
oh, I do see what you're
Period.
Okay, no, I see what you
99.
mean now.
It just clicked for me. And I was like,
Dash is very misleading.
yes, it should have ended. Or had a
They're
semicolon.
freaking rude for that. They're like, we know this is going to be used for a
That-
podcast.
Oh my God.
That's so funny.
A
Yeah.
word to the students. Anytime you are writing, you always want to err on the side
Of stupid.
of stupid. No, I'm being so serious. We're supposed to understand what we read.
Okay,
But
Miss
they make it
Teacher.
hard.
Make it
Better.
Understandable.
make it understandable.
Make it better.
Make it better.
Maybe
do
do it
better.
Do it
Be
right.
better.
Be
Okay,
best.
So to clarify, the mortality rate in the EU is 0.47%, which means less than 1% of children are dying, which means that 99.53% of all their children live. I'm glad we figured that out
Yeah,
together.
dude.
So, yet that does in fact not a vague fact at all. That makes a lot of sense. So to see how much better the world can be, we can ask what the world would look like if this became a reality everywhere. What if children around the world would be as well off as the children in the EU? The answer is that 5 million fewer children would die a year. The global death toll would decline from 5.9 million to 0.6 million, so just over 500,000. which is 600,000. That was a weird way to put that 0.6 million. But I get it. They want to keep the units the same. It's fine.
Sure. That is a crazy breakdown of that.
Yes, indeed it is.
Wow.
So, okay, so like I said earlier, to further elaborate on how the world is awful, the world is much better, and how the world could do much better, I wanted to dip into adult literacy and food insecurity. So as far as adult literacy is concerned, the world is awful. There is a teacher shortage. A lack of high-quality teachers due to low federal funding, and this is globally, not just in America, as rancid and common as it is in the States. They also have a huge lack of formal training, which equates to low-quality education. A lack of properly trained teachers results in an obvious lessening of quality in the knowledge being passed down. There's also become huge economic barriers, especially as we get more high tech in the schools. It is not as common for everyone to have internet. According to UNICEF, families in low-income counties can spend more than 32% of their income on education. 32. For reference, you are supposed to spend 25% on home, on your rent. 25. This is more than a quarter some families are paying just to fund their child's education. That is disgusting. And there are people out there bitching about free lunches.
Yeah, that's wild. That's insane.
Yeah. Couldn't be us.
Could not be us. Would not ever be us. Feed those kids. I don't give a fuck.
Who pays for it? I do.
I will gladly.
I would love to
can
pay
donate.
for that.
I don't even have children, and I would gladly. I would rather my taxes go to that than whatever the fuck they're going to elsewhere.
Absolutely. If you could say narrow down what your taxes pay for, oh my, there'd be like 4 things: education, food, when you're in these public education facilities, teachers who are competent and can do their job and afford to live,
Right.
and aren't going to these like moonlighting jobs in the evenings, you know, like,
Or picking up extra jobs during the summer.
Yeah,
Like they should
like-
not need that.
No.
Should be able to rest during the summer. None of us are teachers, but we're definitely advocates.
Absolutely.
Okay, so additionally, over the past 60 years, oh God, I knew we were gonna get here. Okay, so over the past 60 years, the cost of college tuition in the US has increased dramatically. On average, the cost of tuition and fees at public 4-year universities has risen approximately, prepare for this, 1,200%.
Wow.
Between 1,200 and 1,300% when adjusted for inflation. This means that the real cost of attending college has increased by more than 12 times compared to what it was just 6 decades ago.
wow.
For private 4-year universities, the increase has been even more pronounced. I think that number might make us vomit,
That is insane.
and that is why I did not provide it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so how the world is much better as far as adult literacy is concerned, there is increased access. Primary education enrollment, according to UNESCO, global primary school enrollment has reached over 90% in 2002, up from 76% in just 1990.
Wow.
2022, 1990, that is about 30 years, just shy. And we have gone up 20% almost.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Secondary education enrollment has improved with global net enrollment rates in lower secondary education reaching approximately 77% in 2002, up from 66% in 1998. So not as good as it could be, but still an increase there as well. Global literacy rates for adults aged 15 and above is about 86% in 2021, up from 77 in 1990. For youth age between 15 and 24, literacy are nearly universal, around 91%. So that's good. At least we're starting with some sort of
Yes,
foundation
absolutely.
of literacy here. As far as the gender parity goes, UNESCO reports that the global gender gap in primary education has closed, with gender parity achieved in most regions. However, challenges remain in secondary and higher education in some areas. How the world could do much better still. The gender gap. The Global Partnership for Education reports that girls are 1.5 times more likely than boys to be out of school in some regions, especially sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia. So that sucks. 1.5 times more likely is a lot. That's 1.5 people almost. So for every one boy, you know. Internet access. As many schools integrate current technology into their curriculum, the gap between accessibility of wisdom. Same thing, right? Wisdom and education. The gap between accessibility of education widens. As of 2022, approximately 63% of the global population had internet, which is up from 16 from 2005, but that still means that about 38%, 37% of us don't have internet still and are suffering because of the fact that the curriculum is keeping up with technology and we are unable to because of economy, which is a made up thing. The economy is not real.
And it's those rural communities that are always hit.
Right. And it's just wild to me because, like, we need the rural communities the most. We wouldn't eat, drink, or do any of those things without these communities, and yet they get shit on the most.
Absolutely.
It's trash, just in my humble opinion. Okay, so increase in funding and resources. Education spending. According to UNESCO, the global public spending on education is about 4.5 of the GDP on average. Interesting. That's not very much. You would think that education spending would be at least 10% or higher.
You would want.
You would hope.
Realistically.
Yeah.
You would want it to be. Yeah.
Because where's the other 95.5%?
Yeah.
I wonder what we did with it.
Fixing our roads.
It's infrastructure week.
Guys, that's where all our money has to go. We have to constantly be under construction.
It's just going to
It won't be
Dallas.
home.
Yeah. Where you're going every other weekend to get drunk
Dallas.
because you hate Oklahoma. Dallas.
Always under construction.
It's like the toll roads. You know, they're like, as soon as it pays for itself, we'll stop.
And they never will.
You never will.
It never
They're like,
stops
we
spending
need
money.
more. We need to have a turnpike going through the country.
Yeah.
Listen, she's a bougie bitch, okay? She constantly needs an upgrade.
There.
Well, calm down, sister.
As far as funding as far as funding goes, there have been shortfalls. The Global Education Monitoring Report in 2022 estimates that an additional 1.7 trillion,
Oh my God.
which is about $5,200 per person in the United States, is needed annually to achieve global education targets by 2030. You got $5,000?
Yeah.
You got $5,000?
Hey, I can save up.
No, you know what though? The government could save up because I checked my paycheck last time and they took $400 out of that bitch. So you know what? How about they take that money that they take out of my paycheck and they save up for that $5,000 and I will give it to education. They can have it.
Take it.
Take it.
Take it.
Take a little more if
Take
you
my
want.
money. But do something with it because clearly you're not fixing the roads.
We're on to you.
We're on to
We
you.
know.
Okay, so let's move on to food insecurity. How exciting. The world is awful. Indeed. During the COVID-19 pandemic, it was real. That was not a conspiracy theory. I don't give a shit if you don't believe me. The COVID-19 pandemic conflicts and weather shocks have led to an increase in the number of people facing hunger. According to the 2023 edition of the State Food Security, Nutrition, and the World, between 691 and 783 million people are faced with hunger, representing an increase of 122 million people compared to 2019. 122 million people in just 4 years.
That's a
And that's
ton.
not just because of the pandemic. Obviously, there have been a lot of catastrophic environmental
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah.
On top of geopolitical warfare going on in a number of countries. It makes me very sick and a little sad. Apart from hunger, the report also highlights that 2.4 billion with a B people experience moderate or severe food insecurity, and 900 million people face severe food insecurity. Over 3.1 billion people could not afford a healthy diet.
That's unacceptable.
That's me. That's 3.1 billion people. I am part of that.
Mhm.
Some months I cannot afford a healthy diet. And that is more to say about our current economy than it is to say about the job that I am working. Because I know some of you fools out there are going to say some shit about that. Well, get a better job. Listen, I had the better job. It sucked ass. It drank my soul dry. And I'm currently making more money at the job I'm at now that's not a real job than I was building Walmarts for your asses. So come at me again. I'll give you receipts. Where were we?
Okay, I was gonna bring up like how hard it is to get on food stamps in Oklahoma,
Oh my God.
and like
Yes.
people don't make enough to like actually survive and have a good plenty of food in their kitchens, because like it's insane. Like $400 just for like 2 weeks is insane, and that's what it practically is right now. Ugh, and it's a pain in the ass to try and get on food here because they try and take it away every 5 seconds.
They do. They monitor
Anytime,
that.
anything. They're like, oh, are you living with someone? Taking that off. Are you living with your partner even though like you guys aren't married? Sorry. You're gonna have to add him to everything. And like, even though like
He's not.
he's practically a roommate.
Right.
That's like kind of how we
Yeah.
do things. So it's not like he's benefiting me in any extra way than a roommate would.
Right.
So it's like, that's insane.
He's the only reason I can afford my portion of rent.
Yes, exactly.
Like, it's not.
Yeah. Ugh.
If he was nobody and I never fucked him, would it matter?
Well, literally.
Yes.
Ugh.
That's ridiculous. Well, and then Oklahoma, I mean, we've been known to have a few food deserts.
Just a few.
One or two. Where
May
the
or
closest
may not be living in one currently.
Yeah, I mean, if you are a person, there's a lot of people who live in Oklahoma who don't drive.
Mm-hmm.
They're on
Yeah.
bikes or they're walking places. And I'm, specifically thinking of like some areas in Oklahoma City where the closest grocery store is 5 or 6 miles away. Well, that's nothing if you have a car.
Yeah.
Right.
That's easy. That's great.
Right.
But if the closest thing to you is, let's say, like one of these, big box gas stations or something, right? Obviously, that's where you're going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't afford to spend 4 hours walking somewhere.
Right.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
there and back.
It-
And with your groceries?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Public transportation. That's a whole other thing.
Oh, God.
Sucks here.
We probably could have done a whole extra thing about public transportation as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. The whole thing is just absolutely insane. It is projected that nearly 600 million people are projected to be chronically undernourished by 2030. Again, because we can't afford healthy foods. The pandemic and the war in Ukraine led to 119 million more people being undernourished than if neither had occurred. That's a pretty large number.
Yeah.
In 2022, 2.2 billion people still lack access to safely managed drinking water services. 2.2 billion people.
Is that, I don't want to sound uneducated, but is the thing in Flint still going on with their water supply?
I don't know.
I don't
actually.
know.
Because that was like, it's been going
That
on
was
for
like-
a minute, right?
That was, I mean, that's been going on since before 2014.
Yeah.
Like at least 10 years.
And that's in the States.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's,
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, they're
But-
not unique in that case.
Mm-mm.
Flint, Michigan has just been one of the locations that has gotten the most traction and the most voices out there.
That's
But
awful.
unfortunately, they're not unique in the fact that they have undrinkable water.
Did you ever watch the movie Erin Brockovich?
Mm-mm.
It's Julia Roberts, and she plays this woman, Erin Brockovich, who is living in a town where the water is poisonous. And it's a true story. She was just a regular person living her life. All of these people were sick and dying in her town. And she was like, something is going on.
Right.
Starts testing the water. Okay, lead is in it. Okay,
Oh my God.
arsenic. Okay, finding all these things, going to corporations and being shut down because
Obviously.
It's a great movie, and I got to hear her speak once, which was incredible. And she's written a lot of I know of 2 books that she has written. I don't know if that's a lot
of books,
but
that's a lot more than I've written.
yeah. But she basically throughout the movie, and what she really did was she went and talked to these people. She could tell you everything about the people that she had researched, and there were hundreds of them, and she knew everything about them.
Wow.
And she testified in court, and she got so
I know the story.
You
okay, it's
do?
coming to me. Yeah, like I know.
And she got so many like laws passed and all of these different things where they had to start taking care of their drinking water. And the mortality rate just, I mean, blew up.
Yeah.
It wasn't there anymore.
It was blown out of the water.
It was blown out. Excellent movie. It's our flawless Julia Roberts.
Wonderful description.
Thank you. Thanks.
Killed it.
Thank you.
Rotten Tomatoes.
I would
You're
say
next
it's like
writer.
a 9 out of 10. I would say 9 out of 10 tomatoes.
That's amazing.
Hell
Do
yeah.
they go to 10? I thought it was only 5 tomatoes. Is it?
I
10
would give it 9 tomatoes
out of
9 out of 5 tomatoes.
if I could.
If I could, I would.
You know I would. You know I would.
She can't though. Look at her pouch; it's so cute. Okay, so again in 2022, 3.5 billion people still lacked safely managed sanitation, including 419 million who practice open defecation.
Hold on. What?
No, thank you. No, thank you.
I need that to not be
is
true.
one- that is one thing that I know I'm a spoiled brat about. I love my plumbing. I love modern toilet paper. I can barely shit in a bush when I go camping.
yeah.
I could not make that my lifestyle change.
Absolutely not.
I pray to all the gods that anyone who is openly defecating and does not want to be doing it gets a toilet very soon.
You won't be seeing me wipe with a friggin' leaf.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I-
The corn, do you remember?
Oh god.
I feel like every kid learned about that in like 4th grade.
What?
That like people used to wipe with like hey, maybe I'm
An ear of
crazy.
corn?
Maybe I'm crazy.
What?
With like a corn cob that had like been eaten already.
So it got all the nooks and
Fact check me.
crannies.
Fact check me. Over to David Muir.
We just
while he
find out that your
fact checks me.
teachers have been lying to you.
You're like, what?
So where'd you go to school?
What? You know, you guys remember.
Guys.
You heard her, David. What's the news on
I
corn buttholes?
am
Cornhole! Is that where that comes from?
Oh. Hey guys.
We just
Wow.
learned something new. Only
Wow.
here on Sister Show Me How. Where does cornhole come from?
oh my
We
god.
figured it out. You're welcome.
Fact check us.
Yeah,
Yeah, again,
David.
David.
Oh my god.
Back to the facts we actually know.
Oh my god. Love a good poop story.
Yeah, that's horrible. There are still around 2 billion people worldwide without access to safely managed drinking water services. Among them, 771 million people cannot access even basic drinking water services. As of 1990, as of 2019, over half of the global population, or 4.2 billion people with a B, lacked safely managed sanitation services. So that's a pretty grim picture about why the world is awful as far as food insecurity is concerned.
Oh.
Because those are pretty grim numbers.
Mhm.
My dyslexic ass could not even comprehend most of them.
Could not.
So let's see how the world is better still. We have increased agricultural productivity. Advancements in agricultural technology, GMOs, pest management, and improved irrigation have led to higher crop yields and more efficient food production. Government programs. Many countries have implemented social security and food assistance programs, which help vulnerable populations access food. They do not make it easy to use them, but they have them, so I guess it's fucking good, right? Global initiatives. Many international organizations have launched campaigns targeted at eliminating hunger, providing resources, and promoting sustainable practices. Yeah, bitches. Education and awareness. Increased awareness of nutrition and food security has led to an increased community programs aimed at helping and empowering individuals. So guess what, guys? We are part of how the world is better, because just us having this conversation and just you, sibling people, listening to us blab on about these horrible problems, we are actually helping. Congratulations, you sat on your ass and you helped. No one else will ever tell you that.
That's only here.
Only here.
At Sister Show Me How will we absolutely spin everything to just
Allow you to sit on your ass and still help the
Yeah.
planet.
yeah.
You're welcome.
It really is that easy, guys.
We figured it out.
Solved.
Tune in next week. Urban agriculture. The rise of urban farming interests and initiatives has allowed urban residents to grow their own food, improving access to fresh produce and what would otherwise be a food desert, which is what we were talking about earlier. So the fact that people are gardening in their apartments is part of the solution a little bit. It's kind of sad that we have to do that. We should
Right.
have community gardens. But that's another way that we could make the world better, is incorporating community gardens. Food waste reduction. Efforts have been in place to reduce food waste through better supply chain management and community programs, which have helped redirect surplus food to those in need. Economic growth. In many regions, economic growth development has led to improved living standards and increased access to stable and nutritious food source. So all great ways that we have improved from past numbers. Previously, if you didn't live next to a farm, you had to walk to market like maybe once every 6 weeks and hope that what was there was going to feed you for the next 6 weeks. Thankfully, things are a little bit better. You may only have to walk 5 miles to the grocery store instead of 40. But there are definitely still ways that we could improve. That being said, we could do better water sanitation. Better water sanitation and hygiene could prevent some 400,000 deaths a year from diarrheal diseases among children aged under 5. So that would actually be 2 birds with 1 stone. If we increase sanitation and water, we could reduce the child mortality rate and increase food security numbers. You're welcome. Just spitting out solutions here. The links between lack of water and sanitation access and the development goals are clear. The solutions to the problem are known and cost effective. So for those of you saying, we can't afford it, my tax mom, fuck you, we can. Okay, it is affordable to feed people. Who would have fucking thunk it? A 2012 WHO study showed that every US $1 invested in improved sanitation translate to an average global economic return of $5.5 US. So if you wanted a statistic about how far your money will actually go, it's 5.5 times more. So shut your pothole. We can't fucking afford it. I have receipts. These benefits are experienced specifically by poor children and in the disadvantaged communities that need them most. Oh, I guess I figured out why they don't want to do it. Oh, whoops, did I say that part out
no.
loud?
The call's coming from inside the house. Oh my god.
That's fucking funny. Increasing populations in the future will require that we do a much better job at providing healthy and stable food options. Some strategies to accomplish this are promoting more sustainable agricultural practices, crop rotation, organic farming, actual organic farming, not just this I paid for the certificate, it's organic bullshit. Okay, no, actually organic. And agroforestry. If you don't know what it is, look it up. I don't have time for that lesson today. Strengthening current local food system. Support your local farmers through community-based agriculture programs. So go to your local farmers market. The one in Oklahoma's usually show up around the Saturdays. I know you assholes are off on Saturdays. Go fucking pack up all your 50 kids at 9 a.m. and go get some organic onions or some shit. I don't know.
Go to the state fair.
Go to the state fair.
No, I'm being so serious.
Wait, really?
Yes. They have like crop like competitions.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, and so like small farms and stuff will sometimes like have like a squash or something, right, to show, and then it highlights that farm.
I've literally
and they have like some like a lot of them will make like jams or like honey and stuff like that. It's really cool.
Okay. That was
Go to
cute,
the state
actually.
fair.
Yeah,
With
not
me.
sarcastically.
I love the fair.
I actively
the fair.
avoid the fair. There's too many people for me. Can't do it.
I love it.
Maybe next time I'll go with you. And you can
I
protect me.
I will. We
People
will be
scare
on
me.
rides.
Okay. Oh my god.
I trust that if that's how I go, fine.
No, a rusty bull is just gonna
Listen.
abso-fucking-lutely not.
I love the. Are you a ride person?
It depends on the day. Fair
Okay.
rides, I don't necessarily trust because you can die.
You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong, but I understand the hype behind it.
Okay.
I've seen too many little clips of people getting stuck on the rides or people falling out of rides or
Leaving without a leg.
yeah. But
Those
I can
things.
appreciate it from afar. I will support you from the ground.
What
Same.
about like at a established
Like Frontier City,
yeah, or like Disney World?
Disney. Yeah,
Would you ride those rides?
I think so.
You know how much money is behind those rides?
Right.
Listen, it's still a no from me.
Really? Is it a stomach thing, or you just don't like it?
Imagine you shit your pants on one of the
No,
rides.
I'm thinking like throwing up.
I would,
Thinking like throwing up.
I would be so traumatized if any bodily fluids came out of me, period, on a
You're going
ride.
down in the picture.
No, there was one ride when I was, oh god, this is embarrassingly old, probably a freshman in high school.
Mhm.
Oh fuck, was I really that old? That makes this so much more embarrassing. I went with my like 8-year-old little cousin and we were at SeaWorld on the Great White roller coaster. And that's terrifying. I don't know if you've ever been on that, but we got to the top. It goes, this is at the beginning of the ride, y'all. It's
God. Oh,
fucking
God.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
It goes at the top. We both get to the top, look down and go, oh, we don't want to do this anymore. And we were just screaming the whole fucking way down. Just my ass came out of the seat.
my
I
God.
was so uncomfortable. I was, she's like jizzing
Lives for it.
herself
Yeah.
over here. No, I couldn't. Absolutely fucking could not. Would never do it again. I was lucky to come out with my leg.
I love that high. I love that.
I get
high.
it.
I thought I was gonna die.
There's nothing like that. like truly that moment, because I get to that too. You're right there and you're like, oh, well, I'm fine. And then it drops and you're like, this truly might be it. And there's something, I don't know, I like it.
Are you an adrenaline junkie? Loki? On the down low?
Me, who does nothing to pump adrenaline ever.
Two pump jump.
Yeah, truly. I would never jump out of an airplane. I would never go underwater.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't even bathe.
I don't even get in the water. I hate the water. No, like scuba diving or
Oh,
something.
okay,
I would
okay.
never. I don't think I'm
So,
an
like,
adrenaline
in your
junkie.
own way.
My own cute little way.
In your cute
She just likes for her ass to not touch the ground.
I just
Has
like
to
to
go fast.
brush death very quickly. So
Could
That's
never
fair.
be me.
can enjoy it.
the message was go to the state fair.
Yeah. Go to the state fair, y'all.
With Kat, obviously,
Yeah.
not with
Me.
us, because
You'll have a great time.
Look at veggies and
Yeah.
ride some
Go ride
rides.
some rides.
yeah, the veggie part, that seems really cool. I did not know that. Again, because I actively avoid the fair, so
Yeah,
I would have never
I
known
understand.
that.
It's repugnant. I get it.
I love that word.
It's a good
Repugnant.
word.
It's the people that. Never mind. I'm not going to finish that sentence. I was going to be like,
It's
it's
who?
the people that go. Wink, wink.
Oh,
She's talking about other people,
not you.
not me. No.
Could never be.
Except for me.
Yeah, except
Okay, so some other ways to provide stable food options are education and nutrition, empower people to make good food choices, and raise awareness of food insecurity. So again, we are doing the Lord's work. We are here talking about food insecurity. We are letting you know. So do the same. Go tell somebody else what you learned on our podcast. Veggies at the fair. Who wouldn't thunk it? Policy advocacy. Address economic inequalities and what that does to our food insecurity, and have policies that actually fucking fix the problem. Crazy how that could happen. Also, emergency preparedness, because no matter how good your policies are, no matter how good your plan of action is, we cannot predict Mother Nature in all of her glorious chaos, and we do not know when she's going to inflict us with some kind of crazy stuff. We also don't know when the next political nut house is going to do something crazy and invade an entire country of innocent people, and we just can't prepare for that always. So try to have some sort of emergency preparedness plan so that you don't get fucked when the rest of the world gets fucked. That was not the line, but I liked it, and I'm going to stay with it.
yeah, it worked. It worked.
Okay, so that was a super lengthy bit of research. How do we feel about this? Does this change our perspectives about the world at all?
Personally, no.
Positive Polly.
She said, I stayed right where I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, I guess
No,
I
I guess I'm seeing more gray
Mm-hmm.
after the conversation, because yeah, I think my little brain just takes me
Mm-hmm.
either side of the pendulum, but there are things that are we've done bad and are doing better, things we weren't doing and now we are. I can see the in between on that.
Mhm.
I think a little bit more clearly.
It's called nuance. Nuance.
Whatever, you guys were right.
Wow. Could you say that again? Like
No.
louder? Could you just get
No.
into that? No. Okay. Just the one time for the one time.
Okay, we recorded it, guys.
It's okay. I edit this. I just
Wait,
make her
this
say it
is
again.
Whatever, you guys were right. Whatever, you guys were right. Whatever, you guys were right. I didn't sign up for this. Well, you did.
Oh, well, I have receipts.
You did.
Actually?
And witnesses.
Actually.
Damn.
I do see that this is comparatively the healthiest and wealthiest and most densely populated our species has ever been.
Mm-hmm.
So we do, again, comparatively, have things a lot better than our 4 siblings.
Mm-hmm.
However, we are fucking things up
Oh,
rather royally and in our own great creative little way
at a very fast rate.
at a very
Let me add that
alarmingly
in.
fast
Almost
rate.
like we're racing.
It's like
We're racing the
To
clock.
the death.
we're like,
Yeah,
let's
like, how much-
destroy our planet.
How much can we do? And
Yeah.
how quickly
Game.
can we do it?
Yeah.
I mean, Mars is out there.
Dude, that's not
Right?
that is not an option for us. I
The
have
moon?
told
Have we ever tried?
Yeah,
to
zero
live there?
gravity.
Have we tried?
okay,
I
you
think we
guys.
should explore space.
No.
Sorry.
I have a pact. Well, I don't think he's going to adhere with it, but I have a pact with my partner that if it ever gets to a point where our species is just abandoning this planet and going to Mars, I will not go. Like, we fucked this planet up. We deserve to sink with the ship. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to abandon the home that's like, oh, I made a mess in the living
Yeah.
room. May as well pack up, move to a whole other house. Like, what the just clean
Yeah.
up the mess in the living room. Don't buy a new house.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you? And I don't want to mess up Mars, because like, if we can't take care of our own planet, who says that we can have
Right.
the responsibility? We don't need another pet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Figure the problems you got at home.
Yeah, exactly. Our current dog is shitting on our bed, and we're like doing
Mhm.
nothing about it.
Yeah.
I think an issue that I've personally like seen
Mhm.
is that the older generation, they see Earth as like a temporary place. So this is literally not like, they're like, okay, we're going to heaven. Like that's where we're going to stay. So this is just a temporary like holding place. So like to them, I feel like it's not a big deal just from like what I've seen. Cause they're like, it's not real. You can't tell me this shit isn't real.
In this part of the nation specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Western
is most definitely an issue. May I jump off your ship?
No, absolutely.
Captain,
Sink
my
that shit.
captain.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, the ship metaphor, right? You're gonna stay with it.
Right.
I think that's the thing that really does make me feel helpless sometimes, and like why I see it so black and white is because we set it up. Like we did this.
Yeah.
We knew, and I'm not saying the general public always knew what was going on, right? Like we didn't know the dangers of, you know, all of the like different mines and, you know, just the pesticides you're, you know, come in contact with. There's a lot of things that are dangerous. But like we didn't. We set it up to fail because it didn't matter, because in that moment it would make you rich and it would give you notoriety and it would give you this and you this. And then what, 2 or 3 generations go by and then it's their problem. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That makes it so hard to like see the gray, because it's like you can so clearly see, I think specifically here, like politically, who governs the actual well-being of the American people.
Right.
And it's not who you want it to be.
Right.
It's people who just want to line their pockets.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it makes it a little rough.
It does indeed.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say earlier, to your point of the fact that we all did this to ourselves, 100% we did. Everything, all of our systems are all made up, and it's a very immature adolescent frame of mind to only care about the present moment and to not give a shit about the future. However, I will say that I do believe that the collective conscious is shifting. The younger generations are becoming more and more aware of these things. And it is becoming, in my humble opinion, apparent even in mainstream media, because they are trying so hard to fearmonger us.
Yeah.
They want us to believe that everything is so horrible so that we do nothing, because they know we're capable of doing a lot. And so for you American folks, I have some statistics about how hard they are trying to convince us that our world is shit, and they are wrong. Crime rates, according to the Council of Criminal Justice, overall, most violent crimes are at or below levels seen in 2019, the year prior to the onset of COVID pandemic and the racial justice protests of 2020. There are 2% fewer homicides during the first half of 2024 than during the first half of 2019, and 15% fewer robberies. Aggravated assaults and domestic violence instances were also below levels seen 5 years ago. The only ones that were raised, however, gun assaults were 1% higher during the first half of 2024 than they were in 2019. And carjacking, which is a crime that is relatively uncommon, but began to spike shortly after the onset of the pandemic, is 68% higher. I don't know that I can blame the carjacking, honestly. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Property crime trends have also been mixed over the last 5 years. There are fewer residential burglaries and larcenies, but there are more non-residential burglaries in the first half of 2024 than during the same period 5 years earlier. Motor vehicle thefts have also more than doubled during that time frame, while shoplifting is 10% higher. Drug offenses remain below 2019 levels. To me, what this says is the masses are starting to play Robin Hood.
That's exactly, yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
They're starting to steal from companies. They're starting to go after any of these LLC bullshit. If you're for the man, we're stealing from you.
Yeah.
And no one gives a shit anymore. Honestly, I can't say I blame him.
Oh, I mean, in my current job, I hear that. You know, I mean, people, it is commonplace to steal from corporations.
Yeah.
I'm not saying whether that's right or wrong. I'm not saying anything about it, but it's happening.
Yeah.
It
And
is.
it's happening a lot.
And people are feeling less and less bad about it.
Absolutely.
They're starting to feel less like, oh, I could get in trouble for this, and more like, well, fuck you, you kind of deserve this.
Yeah. Or you owe me this.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Exactly that. Job rates are also, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, as of July 2024, the unemployment rate was at 4.3%. In 2019, it was 3.5%, which was the lowest that it had ever been since 1969. So when they tell you job rates are astronomical, they are lying. Again, I have the receipts. Inflation. In July 2024, the annual inflation rate for the United States was a whopping 2.9%. In 2019, before all this pandemic shit that caused the inflation, our inflation rate was 2.3%. So we are only 0.6% higher than we were in 2019. Do you know what the global inflation rate as of July 2024 was? 6.4%. So not only is America's inflation lower than the rest of the world, but it also negates the conspiracy theory that the inflation is just in America, because it's a global thing and we're doing a lot better than the rest of us. Popular ideology stats are also becoming a lot more progressive and coming together. In 2023, 63% of the population said abortion should be legal in all or most cases, a point that has grown 4% just since 2019. In 2024, 81% of the population said Martin Luther King Jr. had a positive impact on the United States, which is up from 41% in 1963. In 2022, 61% of the population expressed positive views on the impact of same-sex marriages being legal, which is a number that's up 31% since 2004. So yes, we do have very real issues. Yes, we do have very real solutions for those. Are they happening fast? No, but they are happening. And the fact that we are having this conversation is just a proof of that.
Absolutely.
Can we talk about how after COVID, fast fashion went freaking crazy and what that's doing to our world? By the way, I watched a little documentary, or like a little snippet of one, and they were showing a town in, I think, Africa, and just clothes, piles and piles of clothes. That's where we're dumping all of our like unused clothes. Like, that's freaking insane. And they have nothing to do with it. They're just like trying to sell it, trying to give it away, because it's just piles and piles everywhere in the ocean. Like, it's absolutely freaking insane.
Yeah, the amount of, I don't know the exact percentage, but the amount of percentage that the landfill is purely textiles is a revolting number.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it's once again like the United States. We send it to other places. We don't even keep it here.
Yeah.
They're like,
We don't
we're
even
done.
keep it here.
We don't
because
even keep our
can't.
own trash in our own living room.
I mean, we have to pawn it off to other people
Yeah.
and destroy their part of the world, right? At a rate that is astronomical, because you know that we're paying a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and so it's making certain people in these other places really rich and absolutely destitute.
Yeah. It is. I will say, though, I have seen some pretty innovative and interesting ways that people are taking on how to deal with the pollution issue, specifically ocean pollution, because I think that that's probably our biggest detriment.
Absolutely.
The ocean makes up 70% of our planet.
Yeah.
If any pollution matters more than anything, it is our water pollution, because that also affects our air pollution, our air, our water, and our air. It's a cyclical cycle. So whatever shit ends up in our water ends up in our air. So. Okay, so with all this, we want to make sure that life stays underwhelming rather than overwhelming, because we all get a little bit cranky when we're overwhelmed. So I wanted us to share some of the things that we do with our listeners to keep us from getting overwhelmed in the midst of all this up, down, hopelessness spiral bullshit.
Well, when we all figure it out and it's foolproof, I would love to know. But until then, some things that I do, the most recent being boundaries. And not even in the traditional way that you think of like with people,
Mm-hmm.
but with myself.
Mhm.
So when I'm laying in bed at night for like 2 hours before I even think about going to sleep, I'm not scrolling the news.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's turned off.
Good for you.
I'm scrolling funny videos, DIYs, advice, quotes, like whatever.
Yeah.
I am not taking in any negativity.
Mhm.
Good for you.
Not only does it affect like the way that I sleep, the way that my body feels, it also puts me in a really negative headspace.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing it. It used to be, you know, you'd lay there and you would just read the most awful, horrendous stuff
Mhm.
and then try to go to sleep,
Yeah.
have a good night's rest, have your body feel rested. No, your body's still in fight or flight. Like
Mhm.
if you're consuming that. So for me, the biggest thing right now and something that I see has made a huge impact truly is no negativity.
Yeah.
After like 7 p.m.,
Mhm.
if it's happening, I'm unaware.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't need to know.
And that's a good rule too, because a lot of people say like, oh, no negativity, period. But that's like just not possible.
No.
But to give yourself kind of a barrier after 7 p.m., I will not consume anything that is like not a positive content. That's a really good way to incorporate that too. I do the same thing.
It's super helpful.
Yeah.
Super helpful.
I've even gotten to the point where if I follow you on Instagram and I think that you're just like a little too toxic, I'm not gonna do it.
No.
I don't want to feel the need to correct you. I don't want to
Yeah.
feel the need to like make you be a better person.
Yeah.
You know. So I don't want to waste my attention because my attention is very valuable. I don't want to waste my attention on your trash.
Yeah.
So I very quickly I will go through phases where I'll add a bunch of people and then just as quickly like get rid of them.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, I'm bored. My feed is like got like
Yeah.
5 people
Yeah.
on it. And then I'm like, oh, let's add like these 6 people. And then I'm like, oh, you suck. And then you suck. And I'm like, oh God,
Now you
actually.
know why. You have
Yeah.
five people.
Actually,
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
to be said about social media there.
Ooh.
I'm
I
sure.
mean, yeah, I agree. Also, another thing I feel like that keeps me feeling good. It's not necessarily that something that keeps me underwhelmed because this podcast sometimes does overwhelm me. It's a lot of work, but doing it and having these conversations and knowing that other people feel the same way that I do does put me back into a perspective of like, okay, wait, we can actually do this.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one feeling this way. And that is deeply, deeply reassuring.
Mhm.
So,
For sure.
So profound.
oh, thanks. I wrote it in my journal.
Oh, period.
A journal.
A little journal moment.
Oh, I do journal. That's another thing. And I strongly encourage everyone to journal. And that's another thing. You don't have to be consistent to be a journaler. People
Yeah.
think if I can't journal every single day, well, I just can't journal.
And that's why I
Yeah.
gave up because I'm like, oh,
Yes.
it's been like
And you
a year
shouldn't.
since I journaled.
It doesn't matter. I pick mine up like maybe every 8 weeks or so.
Really?
Sometimes I do it just when I'm having a bunch of bad days in a row. Sometimes I force myself to do it when I've had a really good day just to remind myself like, hey, those do
Yeah.
exist. And that way it's not just like a shit talking journal.
That's literally, yeah. That's my whole approach.
You just have to do it whenever you feel the moment. You can't force yourself to commit to something, especially if it's impractical for your
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
If you're not the type of person who can do something every I can't even take a pill every goddamn
Oh
day.
my
There's no
God.
fucking way I would write in a journal every day.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to do what's natural for you. People put too much pressure on themselves.
I agree. The journaling thing, I'm a junk journaler.
Yeah, those are fun.
They're so fun. And I try to make mine as like the other thing that I do that has actually become really helpful is ranking my day on like a 1 to 5, but it's colors.
Right.
Right. So like, and then I have just like cubes for all the days and months and whatever. And I just color it in because at the end of the day, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, a couple of bad things happened, but overall, was it a purple day?
Right.
No, it was actually a blue, whatever. And then
Yeah.
like coloring it. But the junk journaling, I try to be as positive as I can in that because I'm the same way. I will forget that so quickly.
Yeah.
And then it's just this journal of my worst, the lowest version of myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's important too, but
She doesn't always need the
Yeah.
she
limelight.
doesn't
Oh my
always
God.
need the limelight. Like that's not all she wrote.
She's a dramatic bitch.
She is. She is.
My ways that I get through life are not as profound and beautiful as yours, but I like to read. I like to read a bunch of
Yeah, I
like
love that.
little fairy books and stuff to get me out of my reality. Escape. That's literally why I read. I escape. Exactly. I need an escape. I don't I'm like, I appreciate biographies and I appreciate all the fun like books that you guys write, but I've had a rough day. You better give me like Court of Thorn and Roses or something.
Absolutely.
Give me a Sarah J. Maas novel, please.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Just
agree.
Getting into someone else's
Yes.
head brain
Like,
space.
This
for a
isn't my
while.
reality. It's someone else's.
Yeah.
And any reality that includes magic is a better reality than this one.
You're telling me.
I agree.
I want to fly.
Dude, me too. I would go to so many places. At the end of the day, my sisterly advice would be when the world is continuously feeding you a bunch of fear-mongering bullshit, take a moment to remind yourself of all the progress you have made so far. Things may not be perfect, but god damn it, we are trying. So go ahead and chew that over and then come back next week so we can talk about it.
As for today, we love that you came to chit chat with us. Feel free to take what you need and leave what you don't. And join us for the next chat when you feel like it. Or take a break from all the talk and watch us get some actual work done on our DIY channel, only on YouTube.
Don't forget to check out our social media for more how-to guides and bonus footage from previous episodes. And while you're there, tell us about what's going on in your world. What can we do to help?
After all, that's what a sister's for. Bye, guys.
Oh my god. Bloopers!
You're listening to season 2 of Sister Show Me How.
Season 2.
Season 2.
Okay. 2 of we were so close.
You're so close. You're doing so good, though. I want you to know that.
I lost my note cards again.
Right.
No, under the keyboard.
Oh, you're so right. See, this is why I have you. You're my brain. Okay.
Co-host of Sister Show Me How and your other how-to sister.
Try again with the
Yep,
camera.
I know. I can't get this line. I was like reading, I'm like,
It doesn't sound like me.
guys, who is this? Okay. I'm Vibrant Vic.
Mark Rosier explains in his article that discussions about the state of the world too often
We were getting a little too serious. They needed to tell us.
Whoa.
Stop.
I don't like this.
Oh God. So our man, yeah, our man. In 2002, 2.2 billion people still lack access to safely managed drinking water services.
Ricky, you keep saying 2002. It's 2022.
Oh,
Just to let you know. You said it earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt you.
did I? Oh,
Yes.
interesting. In 2022, 2.2 billion. There's a lot of numbers here.
That's a
I'm
lot
just-
Yeah,
of
there's a
twos.
lot. Feel free to take what you need and what you don't. And join
leave
us.
What you don't.
Huh?
And leave what you
And
don't.
leave what you don't. Maybe I
Take what
should
you
read.
need.
And what
And
you
what you
don't.
don't.
Take it, mull it over.
Take it all in. We're right.
We're right.
right.
Just
You're
accept
wrong.
it.
We're right. That's the mantra just behind us talking the whole time. They're like, sometimes I feel like I'm not right.
Yeah, I feel like I'm
Wild.
being influenced by what?
Okay, let me try that again. Okay,
That was great.
that's as good as it's gonna get, y'all.
That was cute.
That was
we
great.
Can,
No,
I
that
think
was
we
great.
can piece that
That was
together.
very
was
cute.
perfect.
Okay, cool.
I
That was
liked
perfect.
it.
Okay.
Okay, now all at the same time, we just
Okay.
say, after all, that's what a sister's for.
Okay.
Okay?
Mhm.
1, 2, 3.
Did we just record the first episode of our podcast?